What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chicago Sam Fox, aka the Fox and Moan, back with another episode. Okay, so I want to start this episode off by saying thank you to all my fans. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I mean, like, literally, it's nothing that I wouldn't do for y'all because y'all keep me going, okay? Y'all really do. So, I want to talk about gender roles, relationship roles. Like, let's really talk about it. More specifically, I want to talk about this conversation that I had with somebody. So it started off with me posting this picture that said, make it make sense. So let me get this straight. Y'all want women to go to work, come home, cook, clean up, tend to the kids, and pay half the bills while y'all just go to work and come home. So I really wanted to get some insights on this because there were not a lot of comments on the actual post, but there were comments on mine. So a gentleman who shall remain nameless commented and said, women don't have to work and, okay, I'm trying to read this how he typed it. Women don't have to work and hold down the household, could get by on one income. I'm assuming he was trying to say women who don't work don't understand how one income could hold down a house. I don't know. Then he says, but there is no Jordans, no 75-inch TVs, no trips to all these stupid-ass places in the world that women want to go. That's, to me, I'm going to just break that part down right there. That sounds like somebody who don't like paying for anything for a woman. Like, honestly, in my opinion, so far, this person just sounds like the typical old school man. Like, the old school traumatized little boy in a grown-up body. Like, yeah, I'm not buying you all, or you don't deserve this, that, and the third because you chose to be a single woman so far. But anyway, I'm going to continue. It also says, none of that stunning a foreign shit. Life just be playing with basic necessities. Our grandmothers didn't worry about going to work because they ass was happy just sitting on the porch and using a straightening comb to do their hair. If we can get women back to those days, they wouldn't have to work one day. If they don't have to ask themselves, how is one income supposed to pay for all that BS they want? And in comes me. I said, if you read all the comments, let me go back because I all remember actually commenting on this with another woman. And she said, before I go back to him, I'm sorry, y'all. She said, I am so glad I grew up in a family where my dad paid all the bills. We lived great. And to this day, my uncles on both sides of my family pay all the bills. And they live great. As men, they decided to tap into their gifts and talents and do what it took to make sure that that they were the breadwinner, and they had to become innovators. They left our legacies with wealth. It's not out of reach. It's just too many people, man, don't go there because they're lazy or just haven't been taught to be excellent and mediocre outside of that. I believe that if a woman is living with a man, she has to do all of that. Then it just definitely goes to show that mentality. Awful for the man to have because they are both working. They both definitely need to be that household still outside of taking care of kids. And anybody will ever have definitely needs to have, if possible, two active parents, no matter what else they do outside of their family. And I told her, Yeah, because this is where it starts. I told her I agree. I do. I'm not lazy. I just had a baby too soon. Sometimes I think that way. I don't know. We're not going to, that's a whole nother conversation. And I am only speaking on my point of view. Also, I have never lived with any man ever. I've had one male roommate due to the girl I was with at the time. Her I did not mind. So female roommates because it was best for me. And I lived with one other female. I prefer to live alone. Unless I know we're building a family, a legacy. I don't come from a family where men tapped into the power of being a leader, and I accepted that. You know what I mean? I grew up broken, no self-love, with not much of a future goal except do the opposite of what I saw, so I never let a man do more for me than I can. Didn't have a bunch of kids, didn't go into debt. All I did was hustle and grind, which kept me on track to dating women because I didn't see the value in a man at all, to be honest. And now that I have a son, I see the changes in me a little bit. I still don't trust men. I don't know what I was trying to say here. I still don't trust men. I have a child, but I don't see men stepping up. Excuse me. I'm not editing that out. I don't see a man stepping up unless we as women step back and let them see what they really want without us. So that was just one of my opinions. And I followed that up by saying, also, I just turned 33. I'm just learning what it means to truly love me, and give that love to my son. I am a big believer that things happen for a reason, and I never wanted to be with a man again because of the lack of real men around me. But I also had to realize I wasn't in the proximity of real men. You have to put yourself in the surroundings of what you want. I know that now. My son at one point was a moment of weakness with a man of circumstance. I knew the man well enough, but I didn't want a future with him. I didn't want the baby, but I had him anyway. Now I got to teach us both to be loving, kind, and persons of substance. And I don't want anything less from a partner. If he can take me on trips and buy nice cars, that's a plus to me, to us, because I can focus on me and returning the favors and then some. So that was my response to this post about women having to go to work, men just coming home and just doing nothing, and we still doing everything. So I started off by saying that BS, this is to the gentleman who commented. I said that BS you're talking about is all extra. Who wouldn't want to plan trips once a year or drive a nice car? And this ain't your grandma time anymore. Those women sitting on the porch with a hot comb didn't have the resources we have now, didn't even have the freedom to do what we do now. Those were sacrifices that came with that day and age. You got to evolve and grow. As men controlled everything, who said those women were all happy? That's a man's point of view. Also, I've been on my own my whole life. No kids. I cooked, clean, and worked up to 3 jobs just to survive. No 75-inch TV. At times, I didn't even have one. No Jordans, no makeup, no weave. Just enough to pay my bills alone. Why would I let a man be in my face with nothing to offer if I'm already doing it all? And no, I've never had a foreign car. Lucky if I had bus fare. No help from a man. So if one willing to go beyond the 50-50, okay, that's a plus. But what we not doing is sitting at home with just the basics anymore. We want more. If you want a woman like grandma, go get one. They still out there. And do you, boo. But it's also men out here who can do all of that and more. And I also followed up that comment and said, if you had read all the comments, you know why I did it all alone. Because I believe he had a follow-up. Let me go back. Yes, he had a follow-up before I responded the second time. He said, if doing it all alone is good for you, then what's the argument? If people want all the extra stuff, then they need to do the extra to get it right. Isn't that why you work 3 jobs? And although those before us didn't have all the resources we have now, or I should say that women have now, look around and ask yourself, because here's where it gets interesting, guys. Look around and ask yourself, are we better off as a family, a community, or a nation of people as a whole today? than they were. Honest answers, please. He wants me to believe that we are better off now than we were then. I said, if you read all the comments, then you know why I did alone first. And second, no, we were not better then. We were even more repressed. We were closer as a community because we didn't have a choice. Again, it was back then. The past you're talking about now, it's always the men who see women as objects and not equals, who want us to step back to the past. Why don't men bring honesty back? Being a provider, taking care of your kids while the women work and make yourself successful. But these men don't want that. They don't want us to get on their level. So, if I'm not mistaken, that's where it ended for this particular post. Yes. However, the comments continued on a video by Keita Rose where she was saying like she was at a post office and the guy she needed to get a pen from was a security guard, and he wanted to challenge her on women of today and are women more aggressive or assertive. And so I tagged this gentleman into that video, and he told me, first off, he was talking to the wrong person to get an unpolitical answer from, because she was going to answer according to the algorithms of the podcast she makes. That's not true. Today's women aren't more masculine as they define it. The women of times past, those women were excellent mothers. So I guess he's saying now we are not. They cooked for their families, and I guess they're saying we don't cook. They were expert tailors, and I guess he's saying now we don't create clothing for our children, whatever. He said they kept a clean house, and I guess we're all just trifling now. I guess we're all just disgusting. He said grew vegetables in a garden and still had time to be a wife. Well, kudos to those women, because I'm pretty sure not all of them had gardens. To their husband, today's women are just more assertive and do little or none of those things that the women of the past did. I put a post up on my page a year ago that had a full chicken on it, and on that post I said I would give a woman who's under the age of 40 $100 if she can cut this chicken up into pieces. Not one woman answered me on that call. I'm assuming that had more to do with your person and not the fact that a woman didn't want $100 to come and cut up a chicken because you wanted to prove a point, but whatever. He said, what does that tell you? Men started leaving the home when they realized that working and trying to provide for a family was a thankless job. And I said, so you compare being a good woman to cutting up a chicken? I just cut up one. But the fact that you look at women as the problem and not the men who leave in the home is crazy. Women were more unappreciated back then, with no respect, no rights, no appreciation. So you want an oppressed woman in the house cooking and cleaning, no mind of her own, just there to service a man and her family. He said the whole women of the past were unappreciated with no rights rhetoric is just further falsehood to support the women who were oppressed BS. Oh, wow. If you talk to some women that lived in those times, you will see they were the happiest women alive. So I guess being told that they couldn't vote and told that they didn't have a voice to speak up and told that they couldn't divorce their husbands because they were beating their ass or get jobs other than be maids. Those were the happiest times of their lives because they didn't want anything. They couldn't think for themselves. They were dumb, right? Okay, but I'll continue. And they were happy because they accepted and respected the roles that women were meant for. And that was being a nurturer to the family, the first teacher of the children. Women today see them as oppressed because women of today aren't nurturers, nor are they raising their children. How many kids Do you know that called their grandmother mama? The overturn for women today is we outside. They care more about the freedom of being able to hang in bars, go to parties, and travel everywhere except to a kitchen or stove. Wow. He also continues to say, if you look at breakups, men don't leave marriages. Women want divorces. Men don't leave their home, but women know with them, women know they can't hang out in the clubs till 4 a.m. The men were forced out of the home because society took their power away. Domestic violence laws were made for women to be able to do this much quicker. In the past, the man had everybody in the house in line, from the wife all the way down to the dog. Domestic violence gave women the power to have men forcibly removed from their homes. I'm sorry, y'all. This is absolute bullcrap. Why should a man go to jail for trying to have order in his house? Because you putting your hands on somebody. Just because you the man of the house don't mean you get to beat somebody upside the head just because you feel like it keeps the house together. I swear, I was really trying not to pass judgment on this person, but he really sounds like the type of person that'll slap a woman upside the head for having a difference in opinion. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And I bet you he like in his 50s, so he probably only knows that as an upbringing, like that's all he know, and he ain't changing it, okay? But anyway, he goes on to say, but look at the households now. Women let their children run the household. Stop me when I'm lying. You lying. You can stop. You can stop, but he doesn't stop. He continues on to say, because I commented and said, so you saying abuse kept the family together, and we should be glad to have a man strong arm us, keep it coming. This has got to be the funniest shit ever. And I actually tagged Keita Rose in this comment, but I knew she wasn't going to comment, and that's okay. But I tagged her because I wanted her to read this, because this, my goodness, y'all, I could not believe I was actually reading this. This is not somebody I admired, but this is somebody I actually know. And I've heard him say some inappropriate things before, but nothing of this caliber. So anyway, after I tagged her in my comment, he goes on to say, I'm saying in those times that a man had control of his house, you're looking at the whole thing in a self state of mind and not considering how the family benefits as a whole, being whole. Women love to talk about sacrifices as long as they are the ones that have to sacrifice nothing. They want a man as head of household, but they don't want him as the head of the household. They want a man to be an absolute provider, but consider themselves a slave if that man asks for a meal every night. That's not true. I said, what do you mean women make sacrifices for their men, children, friends every day? We make more sacrifices than the average men. And he says, the sacrifices women make today are made for their own gain. It's not about family, because if it was, women would be staying in their relationships no matter how displeased they are. So we supposed to be, no matter how unhappy you are, ladies, you hear that? You got to stay in the relationship. So if he beating you upside your head, you got one eye left, and the kids is terrorized, the dog, the cat, the parakeet, the mouse, the gerbils, the snakes, and the spiders, everybody in the house is on lock when daddy walk in the house, baby, because they know he gonna put some bows on their ass, okay? He gonna put some paws on them if the house ain't to his liking, okay? Because this is what we supposed to aspire. This is what we supposed to want, ladies. What part of that don't y'all understand? Anyway, he goes on to say, no matter how displeased they are, because they would know that a 2-parent home is better than a 1-parent home. How can you work, party, go on overseas trips, do all the things women of today, and still be present in your children's lives as a mother? Look at the youth today. Isn't the reason these kids so unruly because they aren't being supervised and raised correctly? And he's putting all of that on just the women, okay? He's saying that is solely our fault. And to be honest, y'all, there was a lot more. But I have to actually find the comments because we were just, I'm talking about going back and forth. But I didn't see this as an argument. Honestly, I don't think he did either. I was actually really interested to see what this person had to say because I really was just in disbelief. I really was in a little bit of shock because I'm like, I can't believe he really just gonna keep going. Like, you're just gonna keep going. Because at one point there was a comment he made where he said, I'm not saying domestic violence is okay. And I want to find that comment before it disappeared in all of my notifications, y'all. So give me a second. I gotta go back for a minute. But I don't believe that our role as a woman is to just endure no matter what. Like, yeah, we're just supposed to endure and not care. Oh, here's another one of a comment from his page. I saw a video. I'm just gonna leave it there, y'all. I'm gonna revisit this because I actually want to get some more opinions. Like, I want actual other people in the room because, like, no, for real, this is crazy. And I can't find the comment, so I'm gonna have to get back to y'all because I remember commenting on something on his page and I can't find it. I thought I found it, but I definitely found some more of his comments. Oh, here it is. He said, I have not one time said or condoned abuse as women think is. I'm for structural households, and the only way houses have structures if a man is in there. How many houses have you been over where there is only mother and son selling weed out of the house? The girl got her boyfriend over there spending the night. People that don't live are living in there. You see none of that when a man is in the house because he has structure. Unfortunately, structure calls for discipline, and discipline is something that people that don't like because it forces them out of unsupervised behaviors. And young guys are out of control today because of the man's not in the home. Sons are their mother's kings, but be 25, no job, no future, just blunts and weave, dreads. The ones that haven't followed that route are gay, and that is because of lack of discipline. It's crazy. It's crazy that he said that because I want to tag him. I'm tagging him, like, but you did say that abuse in so many words was necessary. And I am going to post my receipts because he said that shit. He definitely said that shit. He definitely said that. And I am going to tag him. Damn, that's not the one that I wanted to tag him in, but I'm going to find it. Yep, I found it. And I'm going to leave it at that because I found it. And I'm sorry, y'all, for the dramatic pause, but I had to tag him with the receipts because, yeah. That's crazy. And that's all I'm going to say for this episode. But y'all, hit me up on our Facebook page, What Does the Fox Say Podcast. Hit us up on our Instagram, What Does the Fox Say Podcast. And Chicago_Sam Fox on Instagram. Also on the Fox Simone Facebook page. Like, hit us up on all platforms, y'all. I want to hear some opinions because I I'm still in shock. But that's all your girl got for right now. Again, this your girl Chicago Sam Fox, aka the Fox Simone, and we out.